Hello friends! Today I'm showing you the process of my Hobbit Cook Book Contribution. Unfortunately, I did not record the beginning of my digital work, but I do still have the initial sketch here where I roughly scribbled the idea. For those of you who don't know what this artwork was for, here's a short explanation. The Hobbit Cookbook was a charity project started by two lovely individuals who decided they wanted to support trans people, especially black trans people, during these difficult times. So they asked around on social media for artists and anyone who loves to cook to contribute, share the recipes and illustrate them. And a lot of people joined in, and so did I. Food and hobbits combined in a charity project? Sign me up. After a bit of talking to them, I went for a vegan mushroom stew that I quite like. It's pretty much my own recipe, so I actually had to cook it in order to write down the recipe with all the correct amounts of ingredients, because I usually don't measure them when I cook. Once that was done, I sat down and began drawing. I wanted the food to be the focus, but of course something should remind the viewer there looking at a Hobbit dinner table. I looked for a few references of Bag End and Bilbo's Kitchen online, and I used it as an orientation for what I wanted the room to look like. A table by a window through which you can see the door to another Hobbit hall, that seemed like a great idea. The main ingredients are all scattered around the bowl in which the hot stew is waiting to be eaten. I also knew I wanted it to be winter because that's the best time for stew, right? But I knew that I also wanted warm light and colors to make it all look very cozy and inviting. I'm not really used to painting food. This was basically a first for me and took a lot of experimenting. I did have some trouble with the right sizes of ingredients, especially inside the bowl, so I changed them around a lot throughout the process. Besides that, figuring out how to get the texture of stuff right was sometimes more of a problem than other times. I immediately knew how I wanted to paint the onions and the garlic, but the mushrooms on the other end and the bread or the soy meat, they all were basically trial and error for me. I played around a lot with various brushes and the lighting and so on. You will notice that I moved back and forth with working on the ingredients. It wasn't a straightforward thing where I finished painting the ingredients and went on to other stuff. To make the entire place feel like it's a place where somebody lives, I knew I needed accessories. Especially for a kitchen, I thought, well, it makes sense to have dried herbs. I had a few ideas what I could do, but then again, I didn't have that much space, and usually nobody puts their cooking spoon right next to the window, so I went for the herbs and decided to make it look a little bit more interesting. Later on, you will see me adding some floral painting to the wall. Also the candles on the windowsill, they're not like overly realistic, I guess. I mean, who would just put plain candles there, but they add nicely to the entire thing. After that, I decided to do the outside first, the snow and the Hobbit neighbor's home. as you can see, that's when I went back to the food bowl again, adjusted the lighting a little bit. Lots of back and forth in between the details. I decided to have 2 light sources basically. One is the candles that you can actually see in the painting, and the other one is like just outside of the painting, and it's like a purplish tone, which I think makes it way more interesting. And I think it really adds to the entire thing. So yeah, at this point I already have taken care of the floral paintings, which I painted inspired by the Witcher series, or Slavic type of floral wall painting. I really like that, and I thought that would do nicely in there. Once I was done with that, I decided the herbs need garlic as well, just to make it seem a little bit fuller. I find that places feel more lived in when you add a lot of stuff. Nobody lives in an empty house usually. So more garlic. The entire process of painting light and shadow in the image was a little bit of a challenge to me, because usually not really an environmental painter, and it's really difficult for me to figure out how light works for some reason. So having 2 light sources didn't make it easier at all, but I tried to manage. You just saw me add a dish towel, because that's also something people have in their kitchen. And some curtains. And that's a carrot. I'm adding this one right now as a last ingredient to the table, because I've actually forgotten about it, and when I showed the stew to our friends for feedback, they were like, "What's the orange stuff in there?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's a carrot." That's why I added the carrot, to make it clear there's carrots in it. And then it's pretty much done. That's what the painting looks like. Right, and once again, thanks a lot for watching, for helping me through Patreon. It really, really means a lot to me. And I hope that we just have another very successful year ahead of us, where we do stuff together, create things, make things, and where I can just share my creations with you. You know, I said it before many times, I think, and I'm saying it again. It really means a lot to me that you're helping me out this much. So I hope to see you again next month for another video. And I hope you have a great start into the new year. Make sure to stay healthy and happy. So I'll see you around. Bye.